in case you missed it, we did. Where I'm just doing kind of like a soft intro thing. I'm not like. I'm just gonna do like a "Hey, we're back" kind of thing.
Okay.
In case you missed it, we did an Oscars recap earlier this week, so go back and check that out if you didn't see that. But we are going to move on here. The rest of this episode will be kind of a regular episode. We're going to do some weekly preview, and we're going to talk about some of our number one recommends. But if you want to hear us talk about the Oscars and see who won the 3rd annual Oscars challenge, go check that out. Then come back here, watch this, and then go check that out. Doesn't matter the order you do it in. It's not really like a continuity thing.
No.
All right, let's talk about what is coming out this weekend. Friday, March 17th is the day. First things first, let's talk about Shazam, Fury of the Gods. This is coming out to theaters. What was that? Was that like a roar?
That was my Shazam.
That was your Shazam?
Yeah.
At what point in the movie does he go...
I don't know.
Is he fighting vampires?
I haven't seen it yet.
Is he fighting Morbius?
It's Morbin time.
It's Morbin time. All right, so yeah, like I said, this is another DC movie, and whether or not it will connect to the bigger DCU or whatever they're calling it now, we don't know at this point.
Nobody knows.
They've kind of lifted up in the air. Before we talk about this movie, I guess we should talk about if it is going to be connected to the larger universe. They've kind of left it up in the air.
Is Black Adam going to be in this?
I doubt it.
Okay.
That's just.
Is there going to be a reference to Black Adam?
I know you probably wanted me to have a longer answer there or something, but it's just I'm just saying no, probably not.
Probably not.
I've got no references to back that up.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing. Yeah, there is a rumored Wonder Woman cameo, however, so we'll have to see if that plays out.
It's still with Gal Gadot?
As far as I know.
Cool.
We'll have to wait and see, though.
Good.
But I really like Zachary Levi as this character. I really liked him in the first Shazam movie, so when I left that theater, I was really looking forward to this sequel, and I'm glad it's finally here. It looks like we're going to deal more with the mythology part of it. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into that. Sort of the same kind of jokes. It's a teenager with godlike powers kind of thing. This time, he's facing the fury of the gods.
Ooh.
In this case, the daughters of Atlas. One of them played by Helen Mirren.
Oh.
So I guess she was in one of the Fast and Furious movies and was like, I could do a little bit better than this. And so then she did that Burn on Fast and the Furious.
Yeah. One of the 15 films, 20 films, how many?
Feels like an eternity.
Yeah.
When it comes to those.
When you go from street racing to making cars into spaceships.
When you go from just illegal street racing to racing a plane on a runway for 15 minutes to sending a car into space.
Yep. And then jumping building to building.
What are we doing?
Going down floors.
What are we doing, people? What are we doing?
We're building family.
I guess. Got any other thoughts on this movie?
I think it looks good. I like Shazam. Even though one of the characters, I can't remember his name, he is from I think 13 Reasons Why. Is he one of the guys in there? And yeah,
I never saw that show.
Every time I see him, I just go, oh. And that's about it.
But that's your reaction every time someone brings up 13 Reasons Why, I feel like. So
first season was great. Then it just went like this.
Save the children.
Yeah, wild. But no, I'm excited to see it. Like I said, it's Shazam. It's DC EU video movie. I think it'll be good.
Yeah,
I enjoy him.
I think the best thing for this movie is go in not thinking it's connected to a universe.
Yeah, just go in and watch it.
This is what I'm going to kind of enjoy about these next few DC films is that it's not really confirmed whether or not what's moving on, what's not. Just go in and watch them.
I think it's going to be like the early Marvel days.
Exactly. It's going to be like the early DC days if you really think about it. Each movie, like Batman and Superman, were kind of happening at the same time from the 70s into the 80s.
Yeah.
But it's not like they really connected to each other. So go into this movie with less of a homework assignment.
Yeah.
You don't have to study as much. Just go in and kill 2 hours. That is the point of cinema, was to find 2 hours out of your day to go in and just relax.
Relax.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that.
Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Let's take a quick break here and talk about the Marshall 6 Theater here in Marshall, Minnesota. They've got tons of great concessions to snack on while you're going to check out a movie at the theater. So make sure you get there early, get the snacks that you need, the refreshments, the drinks, all that fun stuff. And then make sure you also check out their website to make sure you get proper information on showtimes and some special deals. They've got Tuesday night discounts as well as Thursday night discounts. So you're going to want to check out their website, their Facebook page, all the fun stuff to make sure you know what's coming up and when to check them out. That's the Marshall 6 Theater here in Marshall, Minnesota.
Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
But let's move on to Moving On. This is also a movie coming out to theaters. Follow me on this one. Two friends reconnect at their friend's funeral. And you know, when most people meet each other at a funeral or something like that, you reminisce, you talk about the good memories, you mourn, all that sort of stuff. Instead, these two friends decide it is now open season on their friend's recently widowed husband. And I don't mean open season as in the try to swoop in and make him their man. No, they plan to kill him.
Yes.
It's very vague in the trailer. He betrayed one of them, I guess, at a younger age. Still hold on to that grudge.
Yep.
And I thought I could hold on to a grudge pretty well. This, I think, broke my record. And yeah, they're apparently still mad enough that they want to kill him.
Yes.
I don't
know.
This movie
I don't
took
know
a
if they're
dark
trying to
turn.
go like a serious route or it's like
kind of a
comedic
dark
route.
comedy.
Yeah, because like some of it is very like funny, but some of it's very like you're trying to be funny, but that's not funny, or were you trying to be serious?
Because you're loading a gun, you're buying a gun,
yeah,
and you're talking about like, oh, how bad's the recoil? Like, well, it doesn't really matter when you're trying to commit murder.
Yeah,
not the biggest concern, I feel like. But yeah, it stars Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin. They have really good chemistry, I feel like, in that 80 for Brady movie that came out a little bit ago, and it looks like kind of the same here. Good chemistry, at least, between those two.
Yeah.
And if you thought we were done talking about murder, just wait, because also coming out this weekend, Boston Strangler. This one's coming straight to Hulu. It's kind of a depressing week.
It is.
You got Shazam. Look at that poster. Look at that's Shazam. He's just chilling out. Oh yeah, bro, I'm a superhero. Let's see what else we got this weekend. What are the options? Okay, two old people killing a guy and one of the most notorious murderers of the 1900s. So if you want to be if you want something nice and inspiring this week, your options are limited. Just going to be honest.
That's true. I'm excited for this. It looks like a very, almost say like noir newspaper. Oh, we're going to get the story, like kind of vibe to it. And I really like that.
Except set in the 1960s, not the 1930s.
Yeah.
Although that was a good 1930s news reporter.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it looks good.
Out of all your accents, that's the only one I think I'm gonna give a pass to.
That was all right.
It took you like 3 years, but we got
one. Now we'll work on the British one. But it needs probably another 3 years. Probably another 3 years.
I blame myself. I brought it up. That's on me. That's on me. But you are right. It is kind of a noir, kind of from the news reporter's perspective. Another movie that kind of did this was The Zodiac that came out how many years ago? It was revolved around the Zodiac killings, but it really was more from the perspective specifically of the newspaper people. They have an official title. News reporters. There we go. And the sketch artist who was working for the newspaper as they were trying to solve the Zodiac. And very same vibe here. Only I think this one, in the Zodiac, the reporters kind of made headway, but they didn't really solve it. Those murders are still kind of unsolved. Whereas this one, it at least kind of seems like, hey, they're actually going to solve this, and it's going to be because of these two reporters. One played by Keira Knightley. I forgot to mention that, by the way, who is actually going to make an impact on this story. If I'm going to be like, look, I love the Zodiac. I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I love Robert Downey Jr. in that, but their characters really did nothing to actually further this mystery. Whereas these two look like they're actually going to solve it.
They're actually doing something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, we talk a lot about movies on this channel, but sometimes the ones we talk about aren't the most accessible. That's where the Marshall Lyon County Library comes in handy. They have a great collection of physical media, as well as a couple of online services with many options for movies, TV shows, and documentaries. It's easy. Just get your own library card at the Marshall Lyon County Library and gain access to their large variety of movies, TV shows, and of course, books. Also, be sure to check back every month as we here at Popcorn Bucket List make specific movie recommendations based on a monthly theme. This month, we're focusing on the greatest Best Picture winners of all time. So head on over to the Marshall Lyon County Library for some of our favorites and check out the channel to get even more movie recommendations. And now, on with the show! So yeah, that's everything coming out this weekend. Let's move on to some number one recommends. Now, like I said before, last episode didn't go up because of reasons, so we covered this last week. However, we're going to cover it here again, here and now. We are continuing our partnership with the Marshall Lyon County Library this month. In honor of the Oscars, we're talking Best Picture winners, specifically the best of all time.
Correct.
So we have our own little booth there. You can go check it out. It'll have our top 4 each with 8 suggestions. I believe the library, they do their own little pick as well.
They got one on
there's
there
a little,
as well.
There's a little trivia thing there. We didn't even talk about that, but that was a clever little thing. I loved seeing that. It was pretty fun. So let's give you guys a little bit of a teaser. If you want to see all of our recommendations of the best Picture winners of all time, go check it out at the Marshall Lyon County Library. But for number one recommends this week, let's give them a little tease. Let's give them the number one each of us have here. I know you're excited about yours. Why don't you tell them what's your number one recommend?
All right. My pick is going to come as no surprise. One of my favorite films of all time, The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. This film is tied with 2 other films for racking up the most Oscar wins in history. It's tied with 11.
And a day does not go by where you don't remind me of that.
That's right. I'm going to have to check to see which ones they were again, but we'll take care of that after.
Wasn't it Titanic and Ben-Hur?
I think it was Titanic and Ben-Hur, yes.
Let's
But I
just say
mean which categories they were
Oh, I see what you mean. I'll stop interrupting.
Yeah,
you do your thing.
because it was absolutely fantastic. I loved this movie. I loved all 3 of them. If you have a chance, watch it. You've probably seen it. It's good. I find this series of films is good to watch once a year. Some people do it for Christmas. Some people do it for Thanksgiving. But check it out. It's one of the best.
I don't know if anyone does that.
Yep.
Okay.
It's it's the best trilogy of all time. So people tend to watch those.
Okay, we don't have time to get into that one. You know what?
We think differently. We have different.
Yeah, one of us. Much like there's 2 sides to every coin. One side is right and one side is wrong.
Well, one side is heads and one side is tails.
And one side is usually the one that they usually choose as the right answer, and one is usually the wrong answer.
Correct.
Pointing to you, not for any real reason. I'm just pointing to you because that's how I talk.
Yep.
Wrong, right. Anyways, my number one recommend this week is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I looked over all of the Best Picture winners of all time, and I noticed a couple things. One, I very rarely agree with the Academy. This year is one year that I do, however, and it's 2 years in a row that I've done that. So just send me the invite to join the Academy already. I'm clearly thinking the same way you guys are now. So
we may or may not be friends with some Academy members. So
okay, so you bring that up. The other thing we lost in last week's episode is we started a running gag of how many weeks in a row we're going to mention that we interviewed Isaiah Whitlock Jr. Technically, that was week 2, even though it didn't go up. So that's now changed the counter to 3. There we go, right there. Ding, there it is.
He is a Academy member.
He is.
So
I expect my invitation in the mail, along with my Oscar and Batgirl DVD.
Yep.
And it's a long packing order at this point. Anyway, so like I said, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, my number one recommend. Great movie. Jack Nicholson in his prime. A lot of great characters. The in memoriam that they had for the Academy Awards, one of the actors in this unfortunately passed last year.
It was the actress that played Nurse Ratched.
Correct, yes. So go and watch it in memory of her alone. But yeah, that is our number one recommends. You can check those out and our other recommends of Best Pictures of all time at the Marshall Lyon County Library. But that is going to do it for us here on this episode of Popcorn Bucket List. Once again, if you missed our Oscar recap earlier this week, go and check that out. See what we thought about the show, some of the biggest winners and losers, and figure out which one was the winner or loser of our Oscar challenge.
Who knows? Nick's won what? 2 in a row, you said? 3 in a row? You never know.
I'm just going to mute him now. And let's see, what else do we got to talk about here? And for access to some of the best movies, both new and old, check them out at the Marshall Lyon County Library, as well as the Marshall 6 Theater. For myself, a muted Ryan Meyerberg, we thank you so much for watching, and we will see you at the movies.